Happy Saturday morning. I'm Kathy Hansen, and today I'm bringing you a simple little pop-up card. It's getting close to summer, always a good time for ice cream. So this is what our theme is today. I got a little clip on here so that I can open it up, keep it closed, and get a good exposure. This is what it looks like on the inside. So you can see it's got a little pop-up, and I'm going to show you how to make that today. So let's set all of these things aside. We're going to set aside the card and I'll show you the ingredients. There are a lot of pieces parts for this card. We're using Blackberry Bliss cardstock for the card base. I know it looks black, but it's actually a very, very dark purple-ish color. We're also using the Ice Cream Corner Designer Series paper from Stampin' Up! And a few little ice cream sprinkles, because you gotta have sprinkles on your card, on your ice cream. So lots of fun stuff we're using to make this card. So let's get started. I'm going to assemble the front of the card first, because once we put the pop-up part on the inside, it's going to be harder to work on the front. So I'm going to set aside these pieces parts. These are the inside parts. And we'll just start working on the front. So on the front of the card, I didn't bring my bone folder, but you know what? The edge of this pen is going to work just fine to make sure that that's settled. I'm going to open this card up. I think it might be a little bit easier to work on if it's more flat. And what I've done here is, the first thing is, this is just a piece of white cardstock, and it's 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And we're going to put that right on the front. I've been working with the lighting in here, and in order to show the dimension of the card, I needed to lower the lighting, and it's darkening the shades of the paper. So this is just going to go centered on the front of the card. The next piece of paper I have is Bermuda Bay, and this piece is a little bit smaller than what I would normally do for the layer. It's 5 1/8 by 3 7/8, and I made that the size that I would just have a hint of the white showing all around the edges. So let's go ahead and put that piece down. And then I've cut a couple of pieces of a small piece of the Designer Series paper. I love this. This is so cute. And this piece of paper is 3 5/8 by 2 1/2. And I'm going to put the top piece down first, because I want to overlap that top piece with the bottom piece that I've embossed with the brick and mortar embossing folder. You can see even on the other side, it's very cute with little sprinkles. All the supplies I'm using today are from Stampin' Up! I don't always use all Stampin' Up! Materials, but today it just seemed like everything worked for me. This is the piece of paper that I've embossed with the brick and mortar embossing folder, and this piece of paper is 3 5/8 by 2 3/4 inches, so it's about 1/4 inch larger than the top piece. And we'll just overlap it here. And I'm measuring from the edge, and I'm not going to layer this next to it because it won't fit. But what I'm going to do is flip it around, because for me it's easier to line things up from the edge of the paper. And then that way it'll go right over top of this designer paper. And then the next thing I'm going to add to the front is this little banner. And this banner, the white cardstock is 1/2 inch by let's see, what is that? It is 1/2 inch by 4 1/4 inches, and I trimmed it each end with the Stampin' Up! Banners Pick-a-Punch, which will give you a banner at any size from 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch to 1 inch. So what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to attach this banner to my larger banner, and this again is it's at the sides are trimmed with the banner Pick-a-Punch. The banner Pick-a-Punch. Oh, just not working with those words today. And it is a little bit larger. It's 3/4 inch wide, and the length of it is 4 1/2 inch. So just enough to give it this nice little edge. I did not want to pop this up because I'm putting an ice cream cone over it, and I'm going to pop that up with some Stampin' Dimensionals, so I wanted this to lay flat. But what I'm doing with this is I put it at a little bit of a tilt just to cover up this seam between the little white brick wall and the ice cream cones. So that just goes right there. Then I'm going to assemble this little ice cream cone. And all I did to make the ice cream cone, actually I didn't assemble this one. I misspoke. This one, I'm just going to attach this to the bottom. I'm adding a little bit of liquid glue to that. And then what I'm going to do with that, oh, I'm just not finding the pin to go in there. Okay, so I'm going to kind of line this up right around here because I want the top of the ice cream cone to overlap just slightly over that banner. And then on the back of the ice cream cone, I'm going to put a few Stampin' Dimensionals because I want that to pop up and give it a little bit of depth to the front of the card. Don't need too many of them. I think 3 will do the trick. And then I'm just going to add that right here over the top of the cone. And just slightly, very slightly overlapping the banner right here. Okay, I don't think any ice cream cone is complete without sprinkles. So I have sprinkles. Right here I have a bunch of sprinkles. And what I did is I just randomly put a bunch of little dots of glue, and then I took my tweezers and I positioned the little dots over top. And again, this is just random. It doesn't matter where you put these. I just wanted to have a few sprinkles here and there just to give it a little bit of more fun. So I'll take my tweezers and I will just place some of these sprinkles. These are the ice cream cone sprinkles, and the paper and the sprinkles are in the January through June 2021 Stampin' Up! Catalog. And I used a punch. It's actually the ice cream cone builder punch. And that also is from Stampin' Up! And I just cut the pieces parts for the ice cream and the cone out of the designer series paper. This is fun, just kind of putting them wherever you want them. Doesn't even matter where they go because they're just supposed to be random, like you opened up the sprinkles and spilled them all over the place. Oh, we're out of yellow, so I have one more yellow. So maybe I'll put that one here. Oh, that's purple. We don't want purple right together, so let's put the purple aside and put a few blue ones in there. Just because we can. And maybe another pink one right here. And another blue. And then that's it. That's all I'm going to put. Sometimes more is just more. Too much. Okay, so that's what we have. And then, you know, I'm never happy with just what I have. So at this point, I added in a little bit of Wink of Stella, which is a glitter glue brush. It's not even glue, it's just a glitter brush. It's a paint brush. And this is clear. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see this because of the poor lighting in this room right now. Maybe if I turn on this light, see what that does. Oh yeah, see, you can see just a little bit of sprinkle here. And it's a very subtle shimmer that the Wink of Stella gives to whatever you paint it on. And because I'm using clear, the color of the paper is still going to come through just fine. And then I wanted to add a little shimmer to each of these dots too, each of these little sprinkles. So these little sprinkles have a little bit of shimmer as well. And that's it. I've finished the front of the card. So let's move on to the inside. And I'm going to flip this light back off because it's very annoying to me. You can't see the brick wall at all when that light is on. I've got a few extra sprinkles here. I'll just pull those to the side. Now on the inside, this is where the action is going to take place. So the first thing I did on the inside is I added my white cardstock again, and this again is 5 1/4 by 4 inches. You don't need to write down these measurements because I've got them on my blog. Across the top of the page here you see where you can find all the measurements and the directions, written directions, how to make this card. So you don't need to be writing things down furiously as you're watching this video. Okay, so now what I have, this is the action. This is the action part of the card. So what I've done is I've cut a piece of paper. This again is the Blackberry Bliss, and I've cut this piece of paper at 3.5 inches this direction by 3 inches this direction, and then I scored it at 1/2 inch to, whoop, yeah, that's okay. From this side, we're starting from the other side, sorry. 1/2 inch, 2 inches, and 2.5 inches. And then I added some double-sided, very sticky score tape to make sure that it doesn't fall off. I've never had this tape fail me, so it's my go-to tape for anything sticky. Box making, action parts of cards, all of that stuff works. You know, before I do that, I think I'm going to fold away from those score lines. This side is the indented side. This side is where the bump is. You can see the bump. I fold so that the bump is on the inside of the fold. And then that way, this is what we're going to have. This is where the action lies. So what I'm going to do is I'm folding it. This is a little bit tricky, so you probably want to pay attention to this. I'm folding it at that 2-inch score line. Here's the 1/2 inch, here's the 2 inch. I'm not folding at this score line, I'm folding at the middle score line. Okay, then I'm going to remove this backing from the score tape. And I'm going to line this up. I don't know how well you can see this. Let me flip the light on again and see if we can get a better... It's hard to see. Right here is where that bump is that I told you. I fold into the bump so that there's a bump on the inside. I'm going to set this down so that the edge of this piece butts right up against that fold line. I don't want it to go over the fold line. I want it to go right next to the fold line on the inside part, not the front flap. And then, since I've already removed the score tape, you can see that that's just going to hold it in place. The next thing I'm going to do, you're going to love this, this is like magic. The next thing I'm going to do is remove the backing from this piece of score tape that's on that little 1/2 inch flap, and then I'm just going to close the card and press down where that score tape is. And this is magic. You're going to love it. Look at that. There's your little action piece, and it works. It's not coming apart because we've used that strong tape. You also could use liquid glue. I wouldn't recommend using just regular tape runner because that sometimes loses its potency. This, you can't really see it here, but this is the 1/2 inch flap at the one end, and then this is the other 1/2 inch flap that we had, and that's what's popping it up right here. Okay, now what we're going to do on the inside is I have this fun little sentiment. This is another piece of Blackberry Bliss, and this is 3.5 inches. No, this is 2 1/4 inches by 1 inch. And then I have this little piece of white cardstock that I printed my greeting on. And these greetings, by the way, are computer generated. I just did a Word document and then I cut them out from that. And that's just going to be centered on this little piece of cardstock. And then I don't want to pop this up because we're already going to have a lot of dimension on the inside. So I just used my regular tape, and I like mine kind of down here. You can put it basically wherever you want it, but I kind of liked it right about there. And I agree. Life is better with ice cream, and never settle for just one scoop. Now we're going to assemble the ice cream cone for the inside, and this is pretty simple. I used my liquid glue and I just did a tiny little line of glue across the top of the ice cream cone, and then I took my first dip of ice cream, my first scoop, and I just set that right on the ice cream cone. Then I wanted the second scoop to be, just a little bit off to the side. So this one I put a little bit of glue right there along the edge, and I added my second scoop, just kind of askance here. And then my third scoop I'm going to have off to the side the other direction, because who can ever keep your scoops together on all evenly aligned, right? So this one looks like it's about to topple over, but that's okay because we're going to eat it very quickly. Then all I need to do is put a little bit more liquid glue on the back, and I'm kind of sticking to the center. I'm not doing these two ends just because this may extend beyond the 3.5 inch length of our little pop-up strip. So here it is. We're just going to put this here, and we don't want it to go beyond this edge right here, because if we do, it's going to fold up when we close the card. But it can definitely go off the edge on this side. So there you go. And this card is finished. You have your little sprinkles on the front that have a little sparkle, and then on the inside we have our little pop-up three scoop ice cream cone. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you make the card because, oh my gosh, it's so much fun. I do have several other ways to make pop-up cards, but I think this is my fastest, easiest, and quickest go-to way to make a pop-up card. I will probably do a video at some point showing the other ways that I know to make one. In the meantime, I hope you visit this blog, and you will see all the directions, all of the materials lists, the measurements. If I've forgotten anything on here, you'll definitely find it on this blog. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you again the next time.